Hi there, this is Jai Ranganathan for SciFund Challenge. In this screencast, I'll be talking about how to get started with Twitter, and in particular, how to use Tweetdeck to do that, and why you might want to use Tweetdeck to do that. Okay, so here we are in Twitter at twitter.com in my browser, and you'll see here a central column, which is the people I follow, and lots of stuff happening on the side. But let's try this in Tweetdeck and see what we find. So Tweetdeck is easy to find. It's also in your browser. It's Tweetdeck, W-E-E-T-D-E-C-K. That's T-W-E-E-T-D-E-C-K .twitter.com. So I have that open as well. So let's go there. So what makes Tweetdeck so powerful for you, and why I frankly think it's a better way to use Twitter, is that it gives you a lot more control over what you see and how you want to see it. And the basic tool, what makes it customizable, is the columns here. So here you'll see there's only one column. Which is the home column, which is showing just the constant display of tweets that I have people that I've followed. But you can do a lot more with this. And the way you do that is by adding columns, which I'm going to do. So it's in the left column, the black column. You'll see the fourth thing down is called Add Column. So I'm going to do that. And you can see you can add tons of things as columns. So I'm going to go through some of them right now. So one of the things I might want to add are search terms that I want to keep track of. So for example, let's keep track of SciFund. So that's a search term. I'm going to hit that. And you'll see there's lots of possibilities up top with content, users, engagement. But boy, I find the SciFund tweet so interesting. I want to follow this I want to keep following this. At the bottom of this column, you'll see something called Add Column. So I'm going to do that. Great. So now I have a second column, which is just keeping track of tweets that use the keyword SciFund in there. But that's not my only interest. I have lots of other things I'm interested in. I happen to be interested in science communication. So I'm going to use the hashtag SciComm and see what comes up. And lots of things come up. So I'm going to add that as a column. So now I've got three columns. And the two right columns are just showing content that I'm specifically interested in seeing. But we can do more. What other kinds of columns can we add? So we're back in the left column, and I'm going to add another column. And this time, I'm going to add mentions, which is all mentions of me that others have been tweeting about. And so, let me try that again. Mentions. And I'm going to hit, I forgot to add columns. These are my mentions, add column. So the fourth column, now the column all the way to the right, shows every tweet that mentions me in one way or the other. So that might be useful for you to see, so see if people are having conversations where you're involved. And there's plenty of other columns, which we'll get to in a moment. But let's talk about a couple of things. How do you use Tweetdeck to actually, send a tweet? Well, it's very easy. In the left column up top, you'll see this blue box saying new tweet. Let's hit that. Great, so now I can send a tweet. So I'm going to send a tweet to another SciFund person, Anthony Silvano. So I'm going to say, hey, how is it going? I can't spell very well. Is it going, Anthony Silvano? And he comes up. So you'll notice down below, right below the box, there's a number. And that number shows the number of characters you have remaining. And you have 140 to start with, 140, and that cuts down to 0. So there you go. That's a very simple tweet. And now it's been sent. But we can do a lot more than that. Obviously, it's a very simple tweet. Suppose you see some content that you find interesting. You can retweet it to other people. And in fact, you can see that's happening here. You can see the third tweet down by Laura Hudson. You can see above there's a little green box and something saying X person retweeted. If you see that, that's content that's been retweeted by somebody that you follow. So I'm going to do the same. So I'm going to pick one about, let's see. I'm going to pick a thing which I find interesting about Maddie Stone talking about mass extinctions. So I'm going to retweet her retweet. And so down below that box, the content, you'll see that one of the icons has a little box with arrows. That's the retweet. And so I'm going to retweet it. So now that's been sent out to all of my followers as well. But let's say I want to reply Maddie Stone here. Let's say I just want to reply to Maddie Stone based on what she said. So to the left at the bottom of that Twitter tweet box, the leftmost icon at the bottom is a little arrow. If I hit that, now I'm sending a reply directly to her about whatever I want, probably about that tweet. Well, I'm not going to send anything now, so I'm going to close that. Other things you can do with Twitter. So one thing that's a key thing you to do is to send a direct message. Now, a direct message, or DM, the point of it is, unlike the rest of Twitter, which is public, Tweetdeck, unlike the rest of Twitter, which is public, direct messages are private messages to specific people on Twitter. Something like a very short email, I guess you can think about it. Now, the key thing is you can't send a direct message to just anyone. You can only send a direct message to a person or people that follow you. So if Barack Obama is not following you, you can't send a direct message to him. How do you do that? Well, there are multiple ways. The first way is if you upper left, you hit new tweet. And you'll notice at the bottom of this, there's something called direct message, right at the last thing in the column, direct message. So I'm going to hit that. So it's asking to. So I'm going to send another message to Anthony Salvagno again. And he follows me, so that's why I can send that message. So I'm going to say, hey, how's it going? And that's spelled badly, but that's fine. So, and I'm going to send that message. Oh, that user does not follow me. Well, that's odd. I know he does. Maybe I got his email address wrong. Let's try that again. Aha, I picked the wrong Anthony Salvagno. That's a good point. I didn't follow the first Anthony Salvagno, so I couldn't send it. This one, I know he does follow me. And off it went. So now we're trying, so how do we actually see the direct messages that have been sent to me and from me? Well, that you can add as another column. So I'm going to go and add column here. And one of the columns you have are messages. That is direct messages. So I'm going to hit that on there. And I'm going to add the column there. And I see that Anthony actually has replied back to me. I'm going to reply back. Just doing a screencast. Okay, one other thing that you can do with this that's very useful is to add other columns. What other kinds of columns you can add? And one of them is lists. So what's a list? A list is, well, it's a list of people that you think are specifically interesting for whatever point you're interested in talking about. And so why is that different than the people you follow? Well, you might be following a great number of people, but on a given issue, there's only 7 or 8 or 9 that you really care about. Could we get the 7 or 8 or 9 just in one spot so you can just keep track of them? You can. And the way you do that, again, is back to add column. And one of the options here is something called list. And I'm going to create a list. And I'm going to call this a test. I'm going to call this a biodiversity list since I'm a conservation biologist by training. Biodiversity list. I'm going to make this private for now. We'll talk about later why private might make more sense. I'm going to save that. And I have to add names of people I find interesting who might add to this list. So I'm going to put in Mark Tursick, who is the CEO of the Nature Conservancy. I'm going to add him to this list. He's added. And maybe I'll add, who else shall I add? I will add Anthony Salvagno as well. Again, another SciFund person. There he is. I add him. And so I hit done. So now this shows up. It's hard to, I guess it's hard to see it in the screen. But I have that now as a separate category. And so one key thing is if you have so many columns, you say, boy, there's too many columns here. I want to get rid of some. I want to move them around. Easy enough to do. At the top of each column, you'll notice a little control bar at the upper right. If I click that, you'll notice a bunch of options open up. At the bottom right of those options is remove. You can also move around, so I'm going to hit remove. So now we can see all the way to the right is my biodiversity list, which just includes the tweets of Mark Tursick, the CEO of Nature Conservancy, and Anthony Salvagno. That's all you see. And so you can add anybody to your list, and you can keep track just of them. So the point of Tweetdeck is it gives you a lot of control of what you see and keeping track of what's going on Twitter. And I think it's a tool that'll help you. It may seem a little overwhelming at first, but it'll become second nature very soon.